Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to another edition of DIY Money.
DIY Money.
I nailed that one.
That was good. We got it this time.
What's going on, Logan?
Oh, I had a softball game this weekend.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
like doing all the sports right now. It's been fun. I'm in a church softball league.
Oh, boy.
I'm the pitcher. So,
Okay.
and it sounds cooler than it is because it's underhand pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. They come off that bat fast.
Yeah, it is.
You better.
gotta
How's
be-
your reflexes these days?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah?
good. The hand-eye is still good. I do not have any balance. That's zero
Oh.
of that, but the hand-eye is pretty good. So it's been
No
fun.
balance at 39, 29.
How old do you think I am?
I 39.
You think I'm 39
No, you're
years
not
old?
39.
Yeah, 28
Why
years
do you
old.
wait? Whoa! Why did you just exude 39 like it's ancient? I am about to be 49,
And you're
you were
retired.
Like, you think I'm 39?
You're retired at
What am
49.
I dying? I mean, what am I on AARP at 39?
I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I know.
oh my gosh!
You tend to exaggerate things, but
That
10
was-
years you tack on
yeah,
to me is a
I
little
didn't mean
rough.
that. 29 lacking balance. That makes me nervous for you.
Well, I'm 6'4" and I'm like lanky, and it's just not good. It's not good.
Every time you talk about height or balance or something, I am immediately time warped back to Central Park running.
Dude,
And, like, I don't know
We
what
don't
it
need
is.
to keep bringing that
I
up.
love it. It's like
That we do not need to
You're-
bring that up.
it
You
was
about
so-
killed me.
it was-
I
it was-
was like, just keep
It
going.
was
Go
very
without
funny.
me.
It was very funny. I saw, if you're on our social media, you saw a photo the other day when Logan and I were on the floor of the exchange.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I don't know. I mean, what is happening? There's nothing happening on the floor of the exchange.
It's so funny. People are like, is it like the movies? I'm like, no. There's
No,
like
there's
5
nobody.
people there, and nothing is happening at all. Everybody's on computers.
Well, since we're talking about the exchange moving into markets, I think it would be worthwhile as we cut this show on July 15th that SpaceX broke its IPO pricing.
That's right. Yeah. So the original IPO price for SpaceX was $135 a share, meaning that's what SpaceX sold it for through the banks. Mostly it went to banks, a little bit of retail. It eventually came to the retail market at $150 a share, then ran all the way up to over $200 a share, and then has now kind of come back very, very quickly. I think today at one point it was at $134 a share. So it is it's been kind of a round trip.
But what's amazing to me is, and let's look it. We're not pouring salt. If you had to have it and you chased it and you're underwater and now you're going to yourself, well, listen, I'm going to hold that forever. And that's fine. And you should. But my goodness, if this isn't a lesson again in what happens in these sort of hyped environments. And I know this got to feel really good for you because as an advisor, I got no calls. It was amazing. But I did have buddies messaging me. And when I put a piece out about it, because I wrote a pretty lengthy piece, and it promptly ran to 220. And some people were like, yeah, I read that piece. That was really good. It's at 220, right? And I'm like, clearly you didn't read the piece about 3 months, 6 months, et cetera. And I just was like, oh, okay, we'll give it time. We'll see what happens, buddy. And it's kind of like it is gratifying a little bit that you were patient and so forth.
Again, you don't want to pour salt, but I got a lot of calls. More calls about SpaceX IPO than I have any other IPO ever, and maybe more calls specifically or questions. Not all of them were like, I want to buy this, but more calls and questions about one specific topic in the market than I have had maybe my entire career.
Well, it's not going to end because I vividly remember there being the same hype around Uber. That was a massive, I think at the time when Uber was an IPO, it was the biggest IPO ever. There was not a lot of hype around, I don't think, a Tesla IPO. I'm trying to think.
Facebook?
Yeah, but people didn't get it.
Yeah.
And Facebook immediately fell apart. And it was, you talk about being down, and my story with that. I tell it to the students that it was one of the greatest trades I ever had. I still own shares in it from that time period. But, the IPO market is so different today. It is not a capital raise for expansion per se. Now, SpaceX is interesting. I was reading a lot about what they're doing with that capital, and they are kind of using it. I mean, one of the detriments to shareholders is they turned right around and actually raised capital in the debt markets
Yes,
too.
yeah.
So that wasn't great. But nonetheless, it's not like when a small company sold 20 or 30% to build 50 new stores throughout the United States
Right.
and just compound their business model, like a Walmart or a McDonald's or something like that. It's totally different these days.
Yeah, and it's very different where we are in the cycle of them selling it. SpaceX has been a private company for a very long time and is pretty mature in their business model. They also, 6 months before they went and IPO'd, combined with XAI, which was another one of Elon's companies that held onto Twitter and Grok and a lot of the AI controlling interests. So it is not a typical. I had a lot of people call me and were talking about SpaceX, and they were like, well, Tesla, like it ran up so much after the IPO. The original valuation, the $135 a share, is close to a $2 trillion market cap for SpaceX. So the valuation, the price, you have to pay attention to with these companies to see where is that stacking up against another Amazon, Microsoft, these really mature companies that have had consistent revenues for a very long time. And it is, to a degree, like a little bit gratifying to see that movement. Now, I kind of believe in the stock, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for it in the future. But the biggest thing is going to be earnings have to, over time, reflect the ultimate price of the company. It can't just be on the expectations of how amazing it could be over time.
Yeah, I would even say, I would even change a little bit personally that it's going to be revenue because I don't think they need to show earnings for a very long time. It'll be like an Amazon situation. So what's fascinating about it, and if it works if it becomes a $6 trillion company.
Right, exactly.
Right? And so if it comes public at 2 trillion or close to 2 trillion or whatever it was, and does become a $6 trillion company, which I hope it does.
Yeah.
And that's great. And in full disclosure, guess who bought some shares, right? At a much better price than the run up and all this other nonsense. So I'm now a SpaceX shareholder. And I'll buy more, okay? Because I don't know how to value the company. None whatsoever. I believe in Elon. I've done very well trading or investing alongside Elon. But I certainly wasn't going to buy the hype. My point is this. If it works, if they're able to do what they're going to do, then $135 or 2 trillion or whatever the valuation is at that price is cheap.
That's right.
But we don't know if they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll tell you what, in totally unrelated news, I watched Project Hail Mary last night. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's a must watch.
Okay.
Like, don't pass go. If you feel any sort of cough or ailment coming on, cancel the softball and watch Project Hail Mary.
I love it.
I know, you're going to play softball anyways. Amazing. Yeah. Okay? Amazing. And now I'm like all about space. It's all about space. Claude, I was like on Claude this morning, and I'm like, how many planets did they talk about in there that were real? And I was learning about all that. And I was like, how far is that? Anyways, unbelievable movie.
Well, data center in space, we could be doing.
We'll put anything in space. I mean, space is so big. It's so big. Okay. Before we go to our great question today from Tess, one of our favorites, by the way, housekeeping odds and ends. Let's take a quick break for our sponsors. Okay, welcome back. $1,000 question. If you're new to the show or been living under a rock, we're giving $1,000 away on the 1,000th episode, which will air literally the last day of the year, close to it, right?
Very
Maybe
close
we'll
to
do
it.
it on the 31st.
It's like the last week of the
And so we're going to give $1,000 away. Keep the questions coming. We've got quite a few. It's awesome. We want a lot more. Send in 2 or 3. We'll go through them. And we'll say, okay, this one could win, and then the other ones we'll use as normal questions. And if we use it as normal question, you get $25 Amazon gift card. It's pretty simple. Socials are on fire. DIY Money Podcast, so much fun. And the DIY Daily. What else are we missing? Anything else?
That's great.
No. Okay. Let's go to Tess.
That's right.
Tess, what do you got?
Hi, DIY Money. This is Tess from upstate New York. I have a question for you today about travel. How do you spend money while you're on the actual trip? For the prep beforehand, I feel like I have a good system there. I have a line item for my budget. I put money away every month, and I base that on how much I think a trip is going to cost. Let's say I want to go to Italy, look up the average daily expenses. I do my research on that front. So building the money and having a goal, that I get. I used to be able to go on trips, and I don't know what my system was. I didn't write it down, but I had a good way of being able to spend that money and enjoy the trip without letting the budget consume the trip itself. I don't want to say, oh, well, we can't do that because of this or whatever. We just went and we figured it out. Of course, this was pre-pandemic, pre-buying a house, and now I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. So how do you do it? How do you enjoy a trip without going over your travel
Oh,
budget?
Tess. Oh, Tess. I wish you could be a fly on the wall sometimes when I go on vacation, because I am at constant conflict with that. I am constantly, and it's not always great. So I will tell you how I do it in theory. I'd love to hear how Logan does it. How I do it in theory is typically we're in an Airbnb or a VRBO, so we know how much that's going to cost. And when I talk about a trip, it's like we're going to the beach, for a week or something like that. Europe, which we just did for 2 weeks, forget it. That was very difficult. I just overestimated on the high end for everything, and thank goodness I did, and budgeted accordingly and so forth. But that was a once in a lifetime. And I hate, so what, right? I hate that. That sounds like an excuse. Oh, it's a once in a lifetime, so budget's out the window. No, it's not. I was still budgeted. I still saved for it, had the money set aside. But it was very, very difficult to kind of figure it out as time went on. Normal beach vacation, though. We know how much the VRBO is going to cost. And then our family, what we typically do is we will go to the grocery store. We will buy groceries for the week. And typically eat breakfast and lunch in the condo or at the beach, made in the condo, whatever it might be. And then I like to go out to dinner. I will go out to dinner, and depending on how many we're going to have, if we're going to have the family of 6, it's $200 at least. Or family of 6. We don't even have 6 family members. What am I talking about? 5 family members, $200, okay? Yep. It's $200 every time. So if you're going 5, boom, it's $1,000 right there. So other than that, I don't buy tchotchkes. Like, I don't do that stuff. I hate rain, because then it's like, oh yeah, we're going to the indoor mini golf. There's $100, so I kind of have a slush amount, like ancillary. And then, this is the one time that I'm like, oh, ice cream almost every night. So boom, there's another, $30 or $40 right there. So that's how I do it. And so I've got groceries, I've got eating out, I've got the expense of the place, gas to and from if we're driving. We very rarely will fly all 5 of us, because that's just ludicrous. And I can pretty much package it, and I'll say, okay, it's $4 or $5 grand. So there you go. If I want to start saving for that, it's $400 or $500 a month. Yep. I was on a podcast with Allie one time, and she was like saying something like, I could never imagine spending $4 or $5 grand. I was like, oh my goodness, like that's like a normal vacation for our family of 5.
Yeah, family of 5 makes a big old difference.
It's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Disney World, eventually we do, like typically I have a special needs son who is 15, intellectually 5. We'll always go to Disney World every couple of years. So we are in the budget hotels. We are on the meal plan. I can pretty much budget Disney World, and then he's got to have a tchotchke, which drives me nuts. But he's got to have the $100 wand that blows bubbles. I got 3 of them in my freaking attic. All right, so but that's what we
budget
do
for it.
And now I guess we got to throw in, because you got to buy lightning passes. Disney World stock stinks. Anyways, whatever. Get me started on Disney. I do like going to Disney though. But so that's how we do it, Tess, is I do it no different. And then when I'm there, it might take some wine to surely relax, but I don't think about it. If I'm going out, we're going to spend $200 eating out. I'm going to spend $200 eating out. It is what it is.
Now, this is before I talk about how we do it. Do you factor in anything of like, you would normally spend X number of dollars at the grocery store and eating out and stuff at a typical week at home?
No.
And how do you pull that?
I'm so glad you actually mentioned that, because I have saved for that week. And what actually happens is the monthly expenditures are lower.
That's how it works for us
than normal. Yeah. When we went to Europe, even though I had saved, we didn't really, other than utilities and things we were, had normal bills, we actually had lower monthly expenditures. Now, I know that's like girl math. Sorry, Tess, but that's like girl math saying like, oh, well, we didn't spend much money this month. And meanwhile, we spent thousands of dollars in Europe. But I might have just really offended some people.
Probably.
But I get those in my inbox and my Instagram all the time.
Yep.
Anyways, okay. And my wife does it. Like, I bought 2 of these. Why did you buy 2 of these? Well, I'm going to
On
bring
sale.
one back and I'll get a credit and it's like free. I'm like, that's not how it works. Anyways, but I will say this, last comment on this. This wasn't always the case. I mean, here I am flippantly talking like a $5,000 vacation is nothing. When I and my wife were putting money away and saving and in the early stages, and I think Tess is much more along than that, but for our younger listeners, no.
Yep.
We didn't.
Yep.
If it was a vacation, again, I joke about this, but like Gatlinburg for a weekend or maybe an extended weekend for as cheap as possible. Enjoy each other's company, go to parks, still get from the grocery store. Like, that's what we did for a very long time.
Yep. We're kind of in that phase. Like, we're paying off debt. Our vacations are we try to be as disciplined as possible.
Why
now,
you keep going to the villages?
That's exactly right. We go to a family vacations. That's right. I go to the villages.
Those are the all-inclusives.
Yeah, we went to a vacation with my in-laws. Like, our vacations we're trying to skimp by as much as possible. Now, we've gone to some really cool places. We went to Maine last year, and that was like the biggest trip we've taken in several years. But we went with 2 of our best friends in order to do it with them. I think all in, like, I do the flight tracker where I'm tracking it for 6 months to see when it dips. We do the Airbnb versus hotel versus your credit card points. Like, I do spend a lot of time on the front end figuring out the cheapest way possible. So for my wife and I to go to Maine, travel up the coast for a week, I think we said all in flights, stays, all the things was like $1,200. Like, we were really, really disciplined about all of the expenditures. But once we get there, it's not as detailed. Now, we do the same thing. We go to the grocery store, we get groceries. We normally have 2 meals a day at home or at lunch, but we just know we're going to spend money on eating out. But what we do is we set aside a portion of money each year for vacations. And what it has been recently is we budget for 24 paychecks. You get 26 paychecks. We take the 25th paycheck and we sock that into an account that's like accruals for vacation and trips. And then we subtract from that over time. So we were kind of halfway through the year in July. We're looking at our budget. And I was like, look, babe, I know we were planning on doing a trip for our anniversary, but we're going to have to dial that back a little bit. It's not going to be, instead of going to like a flight travel trip, we're just going to drive to Washington, D.C., and we're going to do a couple days there.
The other thing I'll say, Tess, is I'm not a credit guy. I don't keep a credit card balance. I actually hate credit cards. I do have an American Express. I used to use Marriott. Now I have it Delta to accumulate points for flights and so on and so forth. And what I will do, I will not track receipts while we're on vacation.
Really?
Nope. I will put everything on that card. I will kind of keep a running total in my head. Now, this wasn't always the case, and it created a lot of stress because I'd be like, where's the receipt? Like, yeah, I want the receipt for the ice cream. Heck yeah. Like, the 15-year-old's got a line out the door. She's like, come on. So anyways, but I don't. I put everything on the Delta credit card. I say this. I keep receipts. I actually keep a stack of them. So if there's any weird thing or something like that going on. But anyways, come home, look at the balance, run through the expenses, no anomalies, pay it off. Done with it.
I like it.
Simple.
Very
That's
good.
how we do it. Hope that helps, Tess. I don't know. I feel like we gave you a spaghetti plate of nothing on that one.
Yeah, basically.
Hopefully you found some value. I'd be curious on how you're going to do it. So let us know in your next question. Give us a follow-up. And go Bills, Tess. Let's go. All right, remember, friends, secret to wealth is pretty simple. Live on less than you make, invest the rest, and do so for a very long time. Make it a great one.